Hello, everyone, and welcome to this new episode of Love, Light, and Bullshit Bingo. I am Ceryn, and my glamorous co-host is the lovely Yolandi.
Hello, everyone. We're back.
We're back. We're back, and we're ready to stir some shit up as per usual. So today we wanted to talk about an idea that just winds us both up, which is the concept of brokenness. You know, in this industry that we are a part of, there is such an idea that we are broken, that we need to be healed, that we need to be fixed, that we are somehow lacking. And it feeds into a lot of what we've spoken about before, I guess, but we wanted to take this particular part of this conversation deeper and talk about brokenness, about the very idea of what that even means, why it's so upsetting to us, and where we go from here.
And I think there's so many so many threads here, because we started just like riffing about like obviously our like talk today and everything, and there's like all these concepts that we just take for granted again, that we haven't even dissected or thought about, or like, why are we doing this? So today is really about like diving into that. And it was so cool because we were just chatting, and Ceryn like brought up this goddess, and like when she read the details about the goddess to me, I was like, this is it. So Ceryn, tell us a little bit about the goddess thing, because like she was like felt like she really kind of embraces and embodies what we want to speak about today.
Absolutely. So this is a goddess that one of my teachers early on in this work, I guess, used to talk about a lot. And if I'm honest, I haven't even thought about her for quite some time, but she's a Hindu goddess called Akhilanda. And I'm reading this from a website called Science and Non-Duality, where it says that Akhilanda means never not broken. In other words, she is the always broken goddess. This isn't the kind of brokenness that indicates weakness and terror, though. It's the kind of broken that tears apart all the stuff that gets us stuck in toxic routines, repeating the same relationships and habits over and over, rather than diving into the scary process of trying something new and unfathomable. Akhilanda derives her power from being broken, in flux, pulling herself apart, living in different constant selves at the same time, from never becoming a whole that has limitations.
Okay, little mic drop moment. I'm like so full of fucking goosies, right? So this is the thing for me, okay, where I'm coming from is like, it is like someone somewhere decided there is a blueprint that is like the way we all need to be, right? If you are the perfect spiritual person, if you are the perfect person, here's your blueprint. In order for you to match the blueprint that we've like put out there in the wellness industry, you've got to do A, B, C, D, E, F, da, 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 da. So please come and follow the formula so you can be the perfect fucking spiritual human being. Okay, this is my problem. And like, I have got stuff that I'm interested in that I want to go into. You've got stuff you want to go into. Like, why are we following this not magical, fucking messed up blueprint that some like person put out there for us? Why are we doing that?
I don't know. And this is the thing, because if I think about, oh God, there's so much I want to say, as there always is. If I think about this spiritual industry, you know, this wellness industry, I cannot tell you who are the right teachers for you. None of us can say who are the right teachers, who are the right guides, who are the right people to work with. None of us. But there is one categoric rule that I always say to somebody when they're searching for the next person they want to work with. If someone tells you that they are healed, that they are fixed, that their work is done, avoid them like the plague, because this work never finishes. And that's not because we're striving for some, as you say, some mythical blueprint of perfection, or it shouldn't be. If that is the case, then ask yourself what that even looks like. It's because we are, like Akhilanda, constantly becoming, constantly in flux, constantly in this process of transformation. And this idea that there is an endpoint, this mythical blueprint where, you know, to go back to last month's topic, where we are ascended, we are perfectly spiritual beings. What does that even look like?
Yeah.
Because I think once I get there, I'm probably going to have shuffled long off this mortal coil and be sat on a cloud playing a harp, because I can't imagine I'm going to be anything close to perfect in this life. Nor do I want to be. It sounds really boring.
And you know what? I think this is the thing where, because we're not little robots, right? We weren't all like printed from the same printer, right? So there's this unique part of me, like my soul is here with all her like ideas and stuff, and some of it's a bit messed up, some of it's like quite cool, like, but like her and I are like in this constant dance of like me the human going, oh dude, like what do you want to do, how do we want to do this, what do I want to figure out about my human self, and like kind of bring more of my soul into this like dance of living in 3D and 5D and all of that stuff, right? So it's just like, so my dance is unique to your dance. So my what I'm valuing and the places I want to go might be completely like off for you. And it's just like, so you have to go like you're not here to follow the Yolandi method or whatever. You're here to follow your own unique method of like, and you use people or teachers or whatever, or wisdom or knowledge or whatever to feed your journey, like your deep dive into who you really want to be, or who you are, or how you want to be, right?
And to help you remember. And I think you take, when you just said that you take bits from everyone, I have worked with teachers over the years who I wouldn't go near again because they're wrong for me. They don't gel with me. Does that mean I haven't gotten some little inkling of wisdom for them that's led me down a rabbit hole? I've picked up books before and gone, this is not a book for me. And yet there has been a word somewhere in it that's inspired something in me. And equally, I've worked with teachers where everything about their teaching, everything they say has nourished me, has inspired me, has set me off buzzing. And then inevitably I've got to a point where I've gone, okay, now our time together is over. Not because they're suddenly not good enough for me, or I'm suddenly too well fixed for them, or whatever it is, just because their part in my life is over and the next chapter begins, certainly for now. And I think is that interesting to me what you said there, Yolandi, about, taking the different bits and your dance, I love the way you put that, will be different to my dance and so on. Because I think, if I think about when I first started this work, this path, I would look at other people, I'd be in circle with other people and they'd say, I don't know, for example, oh, I've taken this course, I'm qualified in this. And I'd feel like it was some sort of Girl Scout badge, where because I hadn't taken that course, because I hadn't qualified in that thing, because I hadn't experienced that thing, I was somehow lacking and I had to do it. And this was the problem. This is why I was still broken. And I was actually thinking about it, two separate things this morning. This morning I was out walking Cali, and I was thinking about breath work and how even if tomorrow somebody gave me an unlimited training budget and said, go and train and do whatever you want, logically, breathwork would be a sensible thing for me to incorporate my stuff with clients. Breathwork's really cool. It's also not at all for me to do. And I'm fine with that. I don't feel like it's something I need. I had no wonderful breathwork practitioners who I could refer clients to. It's not something I want to do. And then equally, we were talking just before about travel and places we want to go.
Yeah.
And you're going to I hope you don't mind me saying, Egypt in a few months. And you've been to Egypt before. And I've said to you a few times recently, I get it. Egypt's amazing. One day I want to go there. Now I am not pulled to go there. Yeah. And if we were having this conversation 2 years ago, I would have gone, what's wrong with me? I am clearly not ascended enough to want to go to Egypt. And now I just go, okay, it's not where my soul's being pulled. That's okay.
Yes.
There is a power in being able to go, this is my dance, that's yours. Tell me all about your dance because it sounds awesome. Yes. But it's also not mine.
Yeah, exactly. And there's the nuggets, the experience, what you get from it, like by speaking to someone, but like inherently, like we are being sold to that there's something wrong with us just because you and I don't want to dance the same, and we're not all doing, what's that fucking thing they do in America, the line dancing thing? Like we're not all line dancers, right? We don't all stand in like a queue and make the same moves and shit, right? So this is what we've been sold. We're like I keep thinking about little robots and everyone doing the same little dance and stuff, and it's just like we have to widen our minds to the fact that like you are unique. You are the one who gets to choose where you want to go. You are the one who gets to feel into where in myself do I not feel comfortable, where in myself do I think I need to look at, where in myself do I need to love myself more, open up more, experience more, whatever. But it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. You just don't dance like I do. You just don't think like I do. And it's okay. And this comparison shit that we do, and we think, and we put people up on little pedestals and we go, I want to be like her. I want to move like her. I want to dance like. It's no, figure out your own fucking dance, right?
And know that, you know, just because, and it's funny, isn't it? Because as we were discussing the topics that we were going to talk about today, one of the things I said was, I'd really like at some point for us to talk about the fact that we don't have to be a certain way to be spiritual, in inverted commas. And here we are talking about it, which wasn't our intention for today, but it's interesting because we do put these people up on pedestals and go, I will not be healed. I will not be fixed. I will not be spiritual. I will not be perfect until I look like that, act like that, talk like that, walk like all of the things. And I don't know about you, but I spent a lot of my life and a lot of my career so far going, well, I can't do what I want to do because I don't talk like that, because I don't look like that, because I haven't collected these Girl Scout badges, but because I don't fit that bill. And now I look at it and I go, and then I spent a lot of time really envious of those people and thinking, why can't I be like that? Which actually just perpetuates that old division between us. And now I sit there and look at them and go, yeah, they're cool. They're doing their thing. They're in their zone. That's awesome. That's also not me.
Yeah.
And I'm fine with that because look, here's my dance and my dance is pretty bloody awesome.
Yeah. So coming then like back, that the thing is like, it's about owning our uniqueness, right? And I just want to, like, it's like that thing. It's just like, what does it take for us to be okay with the fact that you and I aren't the same, the fact that my journey is different to yours, the fact that I don't think like you do. It's just like, so it's that melting pot of acceptance and going, it's okay. That is like, that's my uniqueness. And I think this is the whole thing. It's just like the spiritual businesses, the like the wellness industry, everyone, it's just like we're not embracing uniqueness. Okay, we want to emulate someone. I want to be like you. I want to do six figures. I want to say, you know, all the shit we've already spoken about. It's just like this whole thing is about like just embracing uniqueness, and unique doesn't mean broken just because it isn't in the mold.
Yeah, 100%. And you know, I think there's something here, isn't there? I want to come back to the brokenness piece in a second, which I know was the whole purpose, but there's something here when you're saying that about the molds, about this idea of survival of the fittest.
Yeah.
And yeah, because I might go off on a tangent, but you know, Darwin taught that whole thing about survival of the fittest. We evolve, the fittest will thrive, the fittest will survive, the weaker ones will fall by the wayside. So when we look around and we see, God, I'm not going to get this word right, homogeny, sameness, when we see sameness, right? So, well, that there is something probably in our subconscious brain that goes, that must be the fittest. That's the way I survive. And at the end of the day, there is a part of our brains that is wired for survival. If we get into the basics of psychology, the basics even of neuroscience and physiology, we are wired to survive. We want to survive. We want to thrive. Of course, back in the day, thriving would have just meant collecting enough berries to eat and not being caught by a bear. But you know, now thriving is all of the other things. Our brains are hardwired to want to survive. So we look around at this vast array of people who look the same and talk the same and are the same and seem perfect on paper. And we go, well, survival of the fittest, those people are surviving. I'm struggling. I'm broken. I'm struggling. So I must have to be like that to survive. Now let's just unpack this a second, because actually Darwin might have been, I mean, if we're going to get into the depths of it, Darwin's theories were rooted in patriarchy and racism. Let's be really clear. They were rooted in white supremacist society. And they actually, I don't want to say Darwin's theories are bullshit, but there was a lot of bullshit in there. Let's just be clear. You know, look at the times he was operating in. We're not going to go into that. But anyway, but actually, if we look at these people and what they are thriving in, they're not thriving because they are the fittest. They're thriving because, I'm going to come back to my old patriarchy rant, they're thriving because the template that society wants them to fit in, the template, what that means is they are checking all the boxes that patriarchy says, this makes them a good person. This makes them an acceptable person. The template that they're spouting, and this is with no disrespect to anyone, they're spouting the lines that play into our fears, that play into our weaknesses, that make us spend the bloody money, because capitalism is all about making us spend the money.
Yeah.
Actually, they're thriving because they're sticking with the old systems. Now, at some point in time, those old systems are going to break down. We know that. We look at the world right now. We see that we are in a time where the old ways of being are fucking fallen by the wayside.
Yeah.
It can't come too soon, as terrifying as it is, because it's the breakdown of so much of what we know. It's terrifying, but they've fallen by the wayside. And when they do, those people who are surviving as the fittest because they all look the same and they're all the same, that's not going to work anymore. What we need the freaks. We need the weirdo. We need the people who don't fit in those clever, pretty, wonderful little boxes, because it's those people who are going to carve out the new ways. Actually, do the fittest survive? Well, maybe, but it's the brave ones, it's the courageous ones, and it's the freaks who evolve, who find the way forward.
Whoa, dude. Fucking evolution. And so shouldn't that rather be like our motto, right? Like, if I'm not healing myself, I'm fucking evolving. Like, I'm literally, and this is an evolution into a part of me that I haven't yet explored, that is like even more vast, even like, you know, there's like pieces of me here that I haven't seen, that connected to places in the fucking universe that is just magical. And that's what we're doing. This is actually, if we start changing the narrative to evolution versus healing, because we were talking about this earlier, like we were saying, like, what does healing actually even mean? Like, just like that. Like, let's speak about like what does healing actually mean? Because evolution feels so good to me. It feels open. It feels expansive. It feels like, and it's unique, right? Every organism is unique. But what is healing?
Because I have a real issue with the word healing, and it's one I've decided I'm creating a new website at the moment, and the word healing will not feature at all. I'm determined I'm going to take it off there completely. Because what is healing? If I have a broken arm and it needs to be put back into one place, I can see how that's healing. The fusion of the bones is healing. Even, you know, if I think about trauma that I have experienced, actually I was going to say perhaps that is healing, perhaps, but it's not. It's recovering. It's remembering who I was before the trauma and reintegrating that with who I am now.
Yeah.
We're not. To say we need to heal suggests that we are broken. It suggests that somebody else needs to come along and give us a magic potion that will somehow make everything better. And there are actually very few places where that's, unless it is, well, I don't even know. I keep going, unless, and then I'm like,
because the only thing I can, like, for me, it's only my bones fusing that feels like healing, because everything else, trauma, like all this stuff, is like, again, it's an evolution from one state of being to another state of being. Like, you're changing the way that the energy was, the molecules was, like everything was, and then the next phase that you're moving into is different. The energy is different. It's expanded. It's gotten extras with it. It's removed some stuff, right? Like, there's a state change. Okay?
It's an alchemy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's an and this isn't to say that, you know, when you have been through trauma, for example, oh, there's nothing to heal, it's all fine, everything's perfect, you should just go, well, that experience was horrible, but it happened for a reason, it's all good. That's not what we're saying here. What we're saying is, you take the challenge and the pain of that experience. You also take almost the lightness of who you were before, the innocence of who you were before that trauma, and then you take who you are now. And real trauma recovery isn't about healing what happened to you. It is about integrating all of the parts of you and reminding yourself that it's not all that you are.
Yeah.
You know, reminding yourself, evolving through it and evolving past it almost.
Yeah. And the thing is also here, it's like the person that you choose to work with, whoever this person is, your therapist, your whatever, your coach, your person, whoever this person is for you, like their part in this journey is literally to guide you, to show you things, to open things up. Like, they're opening up doors to things that you might not have thought about, or they like showing you things, etc. But they are never involved in your process. Like, they like an outsider, they hold space for you, right? They're there, they're guides, all of that, but you walk the path. You're the person creating the change and making the choices and doing the things and actually acting on what you're seeing. And I think this also for me is this, like, this whole thing that people hold it up like, I'm a healer, or I'm a this, or I'm a that, come to me and I'm going to make you better. we don't fucking make anyone better in this
Nah.
industry. Like, that's not what we do. We don't make anyone better. You make
And
yourself
who are we
better.
to say we will make them better? Like, who the
Because if I think about like the unique experience that every single client has with me, it's so unique that you could never ever, you might have a framework that you work to, that's fine. But like the thing is, like, people's experiences or their experiences based on like what they, what their life has been, where they're going, what their soul wants to like experience here, all of that, like, it's so again so unique. And it's just like, there's nothing wrong with the fact that we don't have the same path, and that I'm not going to end up looking like you when I walk out the door, right? It's just like, yeah.
no, there's nothing. It's this idea then, isn't there? How many times, I'm sure we've both had clients who they've been referred on by a friend, perhaps. The friend has worked with us, has had an amazing experience, has been like, my life has changed as a result. And then they refer somebody on, which is always wonderful. In some cases, they also walk out the door going, oh, that's amazing. In others, they walk out the door and say, well, I mean, it was nice. It was all right. I
Yeah.
don't feel like anything's drastically changed.
Yeah.
And those people kind of get a little bit like, why has nothing changed?
Yeah.
Because you and I, in the work that we do, which is different, but there are similarities, we don't, she says, picking up a pen, we don't go to our clients, bibbity bobbity boo, you're fixed. That's not what we do. Firstly, because they're not broken. Secondly, because all we do is we, in different ways, support them. We, in different ways, open doorways of contemplation for them. We, in different ways, reflect back things and shine lights on things they may not have known or recognized previously.
Yeah.
And then we support as they choose whether to walk through those doorways, as they choose what they do with that. And for some people, they take those steps through those doorways, whatever, and they have huge life changes straight away. For others, it takes longer. For others, we are not the people to shine those lights.
Yeah.
And they listen to us and go, oh, no, thank you. They're not doors I want to walk through. All right. Nice to meet you. Goodbye. And that's fine. We all have different paths. We all have different guides on these paths. We all have different choices to make, but it all comes down to choice.
And I also think there's something here about like we also feel bad when we don't have that experience, right? Or like, I'm not changing as fast as she's changing. And look, she went and she had her DNA activated and she's doing this, and I had my DNA activated and I'm not doing, that, like, because we kind of do this little comparison thing, right? Like, we were going, but I must have done something wrong for my result not to be as good as person A's. And that just like plays into the brokenness thing again, like, right? Like, so we just basically going, you should be getting these results. And if you don't, then you feel like, oh shit. Yeah. And it's just like, people, like, I've worked with the most amazing people, right? Like, and they will do something with me and they'll come back like I had someone who came back 3 years later and she was like, I get it. And I'm like, yes. Well, that was your path. You needed to go zigzag, 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 and then you got. But that's the thing. It's just like, we all travel at different speeds. We integrate at different speeds. We look at things differently. I might take a big loop over there and then a smaller loop over here. But it's just like, it's not a fucking blueprint.
It's not a blueprint. It's not a race. It's not a, it's almost like, it makes me think about, I always talk about the like the Game of Life checklist. I don't know if you guys had it in South Africa, but we used to have an advert, a TV advert for the Game of Life, the board game, that said something like, what was it? Go to school, find romance, get married, have a baby. And it was this stupid song that basically told you, here are the checkbook, and then you'll be winning at the Game of Life.
Oh, God.
Until you have checked off these things, you are not winning the Game of Life. And I feel like we have, and I get this with clients all the time, right? Clients will come into me and go, I feel like I'm not winning at the Game of Life, basically, because I am not married or I don't have children. And I get that. Being a single person without children at this point in my life, I get it. However, it's the same. It's the same with our kind of soul work. It's the same with our spiritual journeys, is you must finish your Reiki qualifications and then you must go and do this. And I'm not going to sing it as a song. I don't know why I'm trying. And then you must, you tick. The path I took is one, probably very different from the path you took to get to this point. Does that mean that either of us are further ahead or further behind the other one? No. Does it mean either of us, so I trained in we were talking about Sekhem, for example, before we started this call. I trained in Sekhem a few years ago. Does that mean that if you go and train in Sekhem now in the next couple of years, somehow you've caught me up? No, of course it doesn't. If I trained tomorrow to go and do DNA activations, would I have somehow caught you? They're different paths. And as
Yes.
soon as we stop realizing that life was never meant to be linear for any of us, this isn't a bloody bar chart that we all go, okay, we have now got to this level. This is, as you say, it's a wibbly wobbly dance where we all just move through it, and we collect things as we go, and it's all different and wonderful and wondering.
Yeah. And I think it's also sometimes, you know, I mean, I think like over the last few months, there's been so much stuff that's been coming up, and I kind of feel like sometimes you need to be stuck as well, right? Sometimes you just actually need to sit in the shit. And I feel like I've done a lot of that this year. So I'm in the 7 years, so I'm fucking deep diving into stuff that I haven't like even thought about in the last 10 years. But I'm like literally like going, I actually just need to be stuck in the shit. And it irritates the snot out of me, and it really frustrates me. But I'm also very aware that sometimes going to this healer or that healer or whatever, like that's not going to help me. Sometimes I actually just need to sit and be in my shit for a little bit, and that's okay.
And it gives you, that if we go back to that goddess, the Hindu goddess of never not broken, Akilanda, there was that bit, wasn't there, where almost when we recognize ourselves as broken, we are liberated to explore. And I think when we recognize ourselves as, it's okay to sit in the shit, we don't constantly have to be searching for a solution or trying to fix things, or getting, just trying to climb out of that shit. We recognize that actually we can explore it. We both come from parts of the world where mining was big. Where do you find the gems? In the dark. When you dig is where you find them. So, when you sit in that shit, that's when you can dig in and find the gems.
Yeah.
Actually, that's when you have permission to really just explore who you are sitting in that shit without moving forward. And in a way, that takes us back to this hustle culture, doesn't it? There's almost, I think one of the big problems we have with this idea of brokenness in the wellness industry is this sense that whenever you're in the shit, it's a lesson. It's a lesson that you then must learn, you must talk about, you must then somehow commodify and teach to people so that other people can get out of that shit. Sometimes it's helpful. It's helpful when you're in the shit sometimes and you do want to get out and are like, how do I do this? It's helpful to have someone who's been there before. But equally, sometimes that's not the point. Sometimes the point of shit is to sit in it and to just understand it better. That's what it's all about.
Just be in it. Yeah, because you're not going to stay there forever. I can promise you that. We've all been there. But it's also like, and it is that because again, like this whole way that we're thinking feeds into, I need to go find someone to help me to get better, blah, 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 blah. So we've got this like push, and it's like that stepping into acceptance of yourself as well, right? Like it's just like I am me, and I get to remember me through all of the stuff, through the tough stuff, through that. And sometimes I do need someone to open the door, and sometimes I do need someone to shine the light. But don't let that become your modus operandi. Don't let that be the thing that like moves you the whole time. Let yourself be part of the movement, right? Because our over reliance on other people to guide us is ridiculous. And I mean, we're going to be doing a show about this soon, but it's just like, take the responsibility to go, I need to make myself move. I need to make myself see. I need to make myself feel. It's you're doing the stuff. You're working with yourself. And I think that's the other thing that we basically gets taken away from us in this culture of like always seeking out someone to fix us.
Yeah. And it's that idea, isn't it? Take the initiative to do that. Take the self responsibility to do that, and know that you are perfectly qualified to take that self responsibility. Because part of this kind of imposition of the idea that we're broken, it tells us, again, it keeps us small. It tells us that we're not enough. It says, while you're sitting there broken, while you haven't checked off this incredible box that's so important and you are not somehow perfect, what that means is that you are not capable of taking self-responsibility. You are not capable of moving yourself forward. You are not capable of making the choice. You are not capable of seeing the right way forward. And that is absolute, complete and utter bollocks, because you're always capable. Yes, sometimes you might need to speak with a friend, to speak with a therapist, to speak with a coach, to just sort of go, I just want to run this by someone. I mean, I'm a therapist. I know sometimes it helps to just go, let me just verbal vomit on you. And then you can play it back to me. And I go, God, isn't that a sensible idea? Or I go, that sounds stupid, doesn't it? No, that's not the way I'm going to go. Okay, I get that. I get it. I get it. I know there are a myriad of voices in our head, and some of them can be trusted more than others. However, at the heart of all of those voices is the one that is you, that knows the way forward. And this idea that we are broken, it robs us of the belief that there is a voice inside of us that knows the way forward. It robs us of the idea of the certainty, of the knowing, of the remembrance that we are wise, that we are. I did a workshop last night on spirit guides, and one of the things that came through during it was, you are the compass of your own soul. You don't have to look for your guides to tell you where to go, because actually when it comes to the directions, you've got it within you. And this idea that we're broken tells us that we don't. It's just utter bollocks.
And I think like and I'm so grateful, that was like one of the first things that came through for me when I started on this journey, was the importance of listening to my soul. And it's just like that relationship is the one that I cultivate. That's the relationship that I respect, honor. Like I need to, I just need to nurture this relationship with my soul. And we've forgotten how to nurture our relationship with our soul, that little compass, that GPS, that little thing that moves us, right? That voice and it's just like, so if you if you do nothing else, like at least like start there for yourself, like listening to this part of you, this beautiful part of you that just wants to, like every day, just come out and just be with you, right? And just like connect with that again, start there, and then allow yourself to be guided by this voice to other places of exploration. But sometimes we get so frenetic that we forget the little voice, and then we're like, that one saw this one, that one saw that one, I need to go and do all these things, do these courses, see these people, fix myself. But if we just started to listen here, the guidance would be, actually go and do this, listen here. It's so much more gentle, so much less frenetic, basically.
And it's funny, isn't it? Because we're told that to do that, again, we're sold this idea that we will only be able to hear that voice of our soul when we do the course, when we buy the book, when we do the sessions, all of the things. No, I mean, some of those things, and don't get me wrong, I've worked with some wonderful teachers, I've read some great books that have helped me with this stuff. Some of it will help us to remember. Some of it will give us the little nudges and the little clicks that make us go, oh, I hadn't thought about doing that before, and kind of almost turn up the volume so we can hear it a little bit better. And that's okay. But actually, you don't need to spend money to listen to the voice of your soul. You just need to do it. We had a conversation last week, didn't we, where I talked about the guidance I'd got was just sit for 15 minutes every day. Just sit and say, hey, soul, how you doing? What do you need to tell me? That's how you build the connection up with your soul. It doesn't cost anything. Take 15 minutes a day. I actually did it last night while I had the oven on to cook tea. You don't need to, it is literally just, that's all you need to do. You don't need someone else to do that. The pathway between you and your soul, it might have been, or you and your soul's voice, it might have become overgrown over the years because you've forgotten how to use it. But you don't need a gardener to dig it out. You just need to walk along and weed it as you go.
Definitely. And I always think, like, for me, it's just like when I start feeling overwhelmed and I'm not like hearing this anymore, like sitting down with my journal and just going, okay, let's do this. And then I start talking to myself. And it's just like that for me is like, that's my space. When I'm feeling overwhelmed, when I'm feeling lost, like just the mere act of sitting with my journal and writing, like brings me back to me. And so there's these little things we can do, and we don't always just have to run off and try and be fixed. It's the little things that bring us back to the beautiful voice.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know about you, but so many times when I've been in that place of, I do feel stuck with something, and this doesn't feel like a place of shit that I need to sit in for a while. It feels like, how do I move forward? Because I'm holding myself back. So often the answers have not come from anybody going, ping, I have the answer for you. They've come from one or two things. Either, like I said, somebody reflecting back to me, here's what you just said to me. Is that what you really think? And we go, no, I think X, Y, and Z instead. Oh, hold on. Or they've come from me sitting with my journal, writing something down and then going, hold on a second. Now I see where I'm holding myself back.
Mm.
We have it with us. We just need to remember.
Okay, so stop the bullshit of thinking you're broken.
Are fucking incredible as you are.
Yeah, exactly. And just like take it back, take it all back. It's like it's right there. No more blueprints. Like, yeah, get into embrace unique.
Stick your own favorite song on, have your own little boogie and dance your own dance.
Yeah, exactly. Awesome. That feels like a good conclusion point.
It does.
Beautiful. Okay.
We should say before we wrap up that at the end of, well, next month as we're recording this, but at the end of September, Yolandi and I and the lovely Rachel will be running our first ever in-person Project Earthwork session. So if you are somebody who is based in the UK or within travel and distance of the UK and wants to go to the Awakening Festival at the end of September on the Isle of Wight, you can watch us do our thing there live. Just thought we should plug that a little bit because it's exciting and we're excited to be together and doing our thing.
Exactly. It's going to be our first like in-person like Project Earthwork experience. So it's going to be a little bit like mind-blowing. And we'll probably be able to have some good old bullshit conversations with people while we're there as well. So if you do come over to the festival, come and look for us. We're going to be in the Unbound tent. We'll be there at 4 o'clock on the Saturday. So please do, if you're able to come like from London for the day. It's a beautiful festival. There's so much to do. It's really pretty. I mean, the Isle of Wight is like, whoa. So do come and see us. It's going to be a big fat party and we would love to also meet you in person and just would love to connect with you. So, and then, yeah, next month we'll be back with, we'll see what the topic's going to be, but we have an inkling.
We have a plan, but who knows what could happen. We don't believe in getting too caught up plans. But next week we'll be back, and thank you so much for listening and for watching. And yeah, if you have anything you'd like us to talk about, any bullshit bingo topics you'd like us to tackle, then please do let us know because it would be lovely to hear from you.
Cool. And if you're watching this on the videos, please do like, subscribe, all that good stuff. But if you're following our podcast, do subscribe and tell your friends. Share it out, please. We'd be very grateful.
We'd love that.
Awesome. Cool.
Thank you.
Thank you. Speak
Bye.
soon. Bye.